I think so. One of the people are very vocal. I mean, sometimes law issues and then Gertrude Torkornoo and semwa eba no. Meka se nipa ba ko a mebo na ba so pan papa ye friend no Ansa Asare. Na Ansa Asare no de metre mu ama nipa kro ehu na Ghana fo ehu ne se oye former director Emma Ghana School of Law. Na tre se lawyers penyi lawyers apenyifo bebre a efa Ghana ha se no efa nsem. Na what they say about the two wabo Afenyo Markin over Afenyo Markin's hypocrisy on the defense of Gertrude Torkornoo. Na eden Afenyo Markin kan eden na Papa Ansa Asare ononso ode atodwa yenkonko kinkan na yenhwe nsemu awo kan ye wi na ye de menso media kan when they your first time subscribe na click notification bell ne so we ne sa latest news bi aba won sa beka mesrew wa wotie me say Dr. Catro say BP e also see war diabetes se we fu ayekese se wonante kakra na wabre se wonan atatai enche na wabre a mesrew me recommend book bi ama na book no friend your action plan for weight loss. Now book no pe bia ne bo anye den 100 cedis pe na semo america ne say book no betre wanyama miensa di super pepe na memema 1 month se wudi super pepe na BP ne yesi also diabetes ne yesi also we funa yekese no santi ankwa bra na bra beji usika 100 cedis pe ope book ni bi atwa 0558074986 fre ana WhatsApp esa number no na nya book ni bi to ana wotie me a in the comment box no obehu link bi wo ho click here na wape book ni bi ato. Now I say a former director of the Ghana School of Law Kweku Ansa Asare has taken a swipe at the minority leader in parliament Alexander Kwame Afenyo Markin over comments he made regarding the former Chief Justice. Ose Afenyo Markin, in an interview on Joy News on October 27, 2025, came to the defense of Justice Gertrude Torkornoo for her judgment in the case where he asked the Supreme Court to overturn the declaration of 4 vacant seats in Parliament by the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin. He asserted that the former Chief Justice acted in the interest of the Constitution. Afenyo Markin said, now, this is what Afenyo Markin said. Now, say Afenyo Markin ko ye interview. Join News for an interview na nsenya and do 1 week impo. And Okasafa Chief Justice no say Chief Justice no. Adie bia wo ye bia no eyemra. I say, what did she do wrong in the Afenyo Markin case? A constitutional matter of that urgent nature had been occasioned by a pronouncement by the Speaker. Government business had been stalled. And you don't think that a constitutional court had the bona fide responsibility in that circumstance to consider and determine the matter he quizzed. He added, I am surprised why those arguments. People trivialize everything. In any event, what was her interest in the Afenyo Markin case against the Speaker? What was Torkornoo's interest? The Chief Justice, what was her interest? Did she have any interest personal to her other than the Constitution? Let's be fair. And this Afenyo Markin trying to make a case for Gertrude Torkornoo. Say Gertrude Torkornoo nana asem ye de. Gertrude Torkornoo ayebo ne chi no, bonebe no di ye. Ni interest ne say di entia ne yebo ne chi. As ye pesi ye tre say Gertrude Torkornoo no crowd. Na Afenyo Markin na obi say what was her interest no. I think say the answer Afenyo Markin ope will be saying say what was her interest no. The answer is in what we are seeing today. Her interest was that ende ye ni na ye hu say Gertrude Torkornoo na asem ye no. Hwan mu na defend no. Hwan mu na ne lawyers enye MPP for. It is obi saying say what was her interest Her interest was that none the party elusu parliament. Omo ye majority. I mean, menkasa allegedly the party elusu parliament. Omo ye majority. Now so ye declare seat vacant. Eni odi mrika ebabe overturn no. Inti no mpese allegedly no the party belu. So that was her interest. Into today, if Afenyo Markin is asking for her interest, that is what Afenyo Markin is getting. However, in response to, in fact, but it's not even me. I'm not the one going to answer Afenyo Markin. Mr. Ansa Asare did that. However, in response to his remarks, Ansa Asare asserted that Afenyo Markin was twisting the truth arguing that Torkornoo acted in ways that appeared to support the former NPP government. He indicated that Torkornoo's interest at the time was to protect the former government and keep it in power. So you are hearing what Ansah Asare is saying. I say Afenyo Markin no twisting no quarry no. So we'll be saying say Torkornoo no, what was her interest? Na ni interest ye den, ni interest ye den, ni interest ye den ya. Ni interest ne say she was trying to protect the former government. She was trying to keep the government in power. Also speaking on the KSM show on November 2nd, 2025, he said, I think that the Honorable Afenyo Markin was being economical with the truth. Now, Bronika said, you are being economical with the truth. It simply means say, "U can't drop." Person be can quarry. Say no. Your friend euphemism. You can in a certain way be a looky harsh. So see, Afenyo Markin was being economical with the truth. To say the least, first of all, I believe he misrepresented the factual situation, asking what the interest of the former Chief Justice was at the time. He's now giving Ghanaians what actually was her interest at the time, to protect the government in power. That is what she's demonstrating now, to keep the NPP government in power. I don't think that she's doing any credit to herself. The picture out there now is that she's been a yo-yo and being used by the NPP to attempt to keep the wheels of governance grinding. Let the wheels of governance grind to a halt. And then what will happen? And then maybe she'll be a beneficiary. Who knows? Osi Ansah Asare criticized Torkornoo for her actions, suggesting political motives and bias. He particularly highlighted the speed with which the former CJ empaneled judges at the Supreme Court to hear the Afenyo Markin case. According to him, there was no urgency in the case that justified the speed with which the judgment was delivered and the justices empaneled. And you see, I don't want us to go through this because we've already dealt with that matter. So we don't even have to go into the details. But basically, it is true. The record time amameno or set what they be and panel judges. And you see, listen, let us not deceive ourselves. Let us not talk about the fact say mameno odia judges now one panel no and open a problem dabi. Our main problem the fact say ye bombrani guye. Because basically MPP embre President Ekufa the first term embrani ye juma. Na assembly ni nane say say waba parliament on the ticket of MPP and NDC. Now during the course of Emra War Parliament, Wakwa could declare, say, all standing on the ticket of a different political party. And mind you, that time, na Nkrofo Dinyaba, omo a notice of poll, a PA. That time, omo akwa register, the Electoral Commission. Ama yehu, say, sitting members of Parliament of the MPP, standing on the ticket of a different political party, and I say almost standing as independent candidates. And again, I'm rather say, you lose your seat immediately. It's as simple as that. The MPP did the same thing to the former MP in 2020. Emra Yakoto about 2020. So it was simple. The same thing happened. MPP MPs miensa. I think there were 4. NDC dear Bakon, MPP miensa. And Speaker of Parliament said, due to precedence at AC, and at AC Parliament that I am doing the same thing. Now, honey, the Mirika come amene ho. Now, fe mamene person try and say Ghana mbrana yetina ha. A year Juma 2020 no sebe mbrani ye bogus. Inti yambo sa mbreningu. Ono nenti asie of mbrano. Ye differences ankro for no. Eni kwa so mulusu omu seat. Embra 2020 na mami wo krum ha. Yanti omonka. And that year, abanfo frobe yene dia wrong. Let people not trivialize the issues. So today, if Afenyo Markin is trying to trivialize the issue to say ma menena ni interest ye den ya, enye no ho asempo ne ye ka. The fact say ye twisty law no to suit a particular political party no. That is where the problem is. Omunya ide omo keka no. Just according to him, there was no urgency in the case that justified the speed. Media, I'm not even talking about the speed. But Senya Makano, I know. I say the Supreme Court will never do that because it would have been unthinkable before then for the Supreme Court of Ghana to be empaneled. What was the urgency about that matter? That a motion, which was ex parte, was thrust onto the judicial desk, and within a very short time, 5 justices had been composed to deal with the matter expeditiously. If the Honorable Afenyo Markin described that as expediency, then I'm afraid we have a long way to go. On the suit filed by Torkornoo, Ansa Asari expressed the view that she must be ignored by the president, stating that the office of the Chief Justice is a public office, not an individual's property. Also, I think she must be ignored. The president must ignore her. She's treating the office of Chief Justice as though it were her personal property. Let her put it in her handbag and walk along with it. That is all. That's coming from Ansa. I'll say, Torkornoo for Chief Justice position is shell handbag na fe dwane ko. Anyway, so basically there's it. Montreal your comment box ni mo. Me da say.